about to leave, already packing. Come with me, I'm not really asking. We'll get away to a place where we don't know. About to see.
Chapter 2. Get anyone to find you irresistibly attractive. While we all have different physical preferences, these tactics will greatly help you to maximize your assets and, in most cases, override another person's basic idea of what he finds attractive. How can this be done? Have you ever dated someone who was not even close to your type? Why'd you do it? Because he or she enacted these laws. Most likely unwittingly, and you found that person simply irresistible. If you want to be appealing to anyone, use the techniques in the previous chapter and then move on to those in this chapter for maximum success. Numerous studies, as well as real life, show us that the more we like someone, the more attractive we tend to find him or her. Although the following tactics are especially designed for romantic interest, it should be said that we rarely find attractive those whom we do not like. So, fold into your game plan the tactics in the preceding chapter to give you an unstoppable overall strategy. 1. Emotion arousal. This single tactic will be responsible for getting you more dates than any hairstyle or outfit or high-powered job ever will. It is a foundation of human behavior that when our body produces adrenaline, feelings of attraction to those present and sexual desire often result. Adrenaline, produced through any state of heightened arousal, fear, excitement, exercise, or whatever, generates and intensifies passionate feelings. This assumes that attraction exists in some form, at some level. Anytime a person is aroused, such as with scary movies, amusement park rides, or even physical exercise, his arousal will in part be attributed to whomever he is with. In effect, there is a transference of state where the excitement he feels gets unconsciously translated into sexual desire and arousal. The next time you see a couple who appears to be aesthetically mismatched, ask where they met. Chances are good that they met under circumstances where arousal was high, maybe at the gym, or while one person, the better-looking of the two, was apprehensive, nervous, or excited about something. PowerPoint. It's for this very fact that psychologists are becoming increasingly disturbed by the trend, in video games, movies, and television, of associating violence and sex. The pairing of these two stimuli, sexual content and violence, can generate enhanced arousal toward violence and aggressive tendencies in sexual encounters. 2. Walking styles. Youth is often deemed to be a factor of physical attractiveness, but the good news is that you don't necessarily have to look young, but merely appear young. Even something as seemingly innocuous as posture and how a person walks plays a powerful role in how youthful we judge him. Walking styles definitely influence physical attractiveness. People react more favorably to those whose walking style seems youthful than to those who seem elderly, regardless of the actual age or sex. Montpere and Zebrowitz-McArthur, 1988. What exactly determines youthful posture and gait? Flexibility. Observe a small child and note how flexible she is in comparison to an elderly person. Yoga will greatly improve your flexibility and will make a dramatic difference in your overall posture, walking style, and how attractive others perceive you to be. PowerPoint. There are several popular theories on why we are attracted to youth. The most widely accepted is that this is a biological instinct courtesy of our ancestors. Women who have youthful features are likely to be of childbearing age, considered a desirable state by men. Men who are young are perceived as more virile, considered as good protectors and providers by women for them and their children. 3. Gazing into a person's eyes. Did you know that gazing into a person's eyes can actually make the individual fall in love with you? That's the conclusion of numerous studies on attraction and romantic love. In one particular experiment, two opposite-sex strangers were asked to gaze into each other's eyes for 2 minutes. This study concluded that the act of simply looking into another's eyes for only a few moments was enough for them to produce passionate feelings for each other. Kellerman, Lewis, and Laird, 1989. To make use of this tactic when you have a conversation with this person, look him directly in the eyes when speaking and listening. Most of the time we sort of gaze generally at a person's face or divert our glance when in conversation. By looking into his eyes while speaking with him, you engage this psychological phenomenon without being obvious. 4. The law of contrast and association. When you want someone to find you attractive, your best bet is to meet this person initially by yourself or with you being accompanied by an attractive person of the opposite sex. This is because of the law of contrast and the law of association. We don't often judge a person by herself, but in contrast with other people. This is intensified when it comes to meeting someone for the first time. We see and think of her physical attributes in comparison to those she is with. There have been many studies in this area, including some that confirm that men who have recently been looking at bathing suit models find other women, or even their own wives, less attractive. Herein lies one of the biggest mistakes we often make. Before someone has a chance to know the real you and to be influenced by these other tactics, your physical beauty is the first thing you're judged by. So put the odds in your favor. Do not, I repeat, do not find yourself in the company of those who are more attractive than you, of the same sex, when you want someone to become interested in you. When meeting this person, generally for the first time only, try also not to be in the company of terribly unattractive people of either sex. This is because of the law of association, where we tend to see a group as a whole and not the individuals. Therefore, again, your best approach is to be by yourself or with an attractive person of the opposite sex. This will also afford you the opportunity to use your other tactics without distraction. The reason you can be with an attractive person of the opposite sex is that the law of association takes precedence over the law of contrast when the members of the group are more different than they are similar. In other words, your attractiveness is enhanced by this person because you are seen as one unit. 5. Self-esteem and attraction. This is a tactic to use if your own beauty is limited, as it will allow you to be seen initially as much more attractive than you might otherwise appear. A study by Elaine Walster Hatfield showed that a woman who is introduced to a man will find him more appealing if her self-esteem has been temporarily injured than a woman whose self-esteem has not been impaired. Walster Hatfield, 1965. While you wouldn't want to go out of your way to make someone feel bad about herself, should you become aware that this person has recently had a rejection, you should know you would appear to be more attractive to her than if her self-esteem were in high gear. This law is what is responsible for the good old rebound effect, whereby a person finds herself fast into a relationship right after one ends, usually with someone whom she wouldn't under normal conditions date. Another way to slip in under the radar is to simply approach her when she is with other more attractive people. Studies conclude that when we're around people who we feel are better looking than we are, we tend to feel less confident about ourselves and our appearance. Again, when our own self-esteem is suffering, we tend to view others as more attractive. So when the person is feeling less than good about herself, be flirtatious and friendly. The caveat here is the law of human nature that says people want what they can't have, and they like more what they have to work for. So prevent this law from hurting you by not being too obvious. Be interested and attentive, but not overly so. This is discussed at greater length later in this section when we talk specifically about relationships and getting the upper hand. 6. Reciprocal liking. We touched on this in the previous chapter, but it is included here because this law also impacts on us at a romantic level. Studies have shown that when we find out that someone we like finds us appealing, it actually awakens romantic feelings within us. Again, not only do we like those who like us, but we're also more attracted to those people once we learn that they are attracted to us. This is because an essential aspect of passionate feelings is hope. If the other person has absolutely no interest in you, then you may find her attractive, but not develop a real and intense attraction and desire. Hope paves the way for stronger, more intense romantic feelings. And finding out that someone likes us gives us hope that a relationship is possible and will intensify our feelings toward him or her. Strategy review. Engage in an activity with this person where emotional arousal is high. The perception of youth increases attraction. Your posture and walking style influence greatly how youthful you appear. Passionate feelings for another can easily develop by simply staring into someone's eyes. Look her directly in the eyes when speaking and listening. We find others more attractive at those times when we feel less confident about ourselves. Approaching her when she feels self-conscious will make you appear more attractive. Once she already likes you, deepen the attraction by letting her know that you are attracted to her. Review the techniques in Chapter 1. Get anyone to like you every time. Then, once the relationship gets going, make sure you follow the techniques in Chapter 5. Get anyone to see you as pure gold to keep the passion strong. But before you do, don't forget, if you haven't already met, you're going to want to make the best first impression possible. So let's go to Chapter 3, How to Make a Fantastic First Impression, which gives you even more psychological techniques to round out your overall strategy. Chapter 3, How to Make a Fantastic First Impression.